Hello nice people, playing as tribal is a lot of fun, but it's also very powerful. And before going into details on how to play as tribal, let me explain the benefits that you can have. Benefit number one, you will have a much faster expansion because you can declare anyone. And take a look at this example. In just 35 years, I transform myself, a kind of nomad king, into the emperor of Italy, and my king will be a feudal king, but he will inherit a huge empire with several kingdoms in it. The second benefit, very important, is that your armies are much better and much bigger. Take a look at this example. We have in the roster horse archers that are unbeatable, cannot be countered easily by any European units. And not only that, instead of 300, the companies have 500. Not only that, you can have this tradition that will add in a few years 2 more hundreds. So in this amount of years, let me see, will be ready in 18 years. In 18 years, I will be adding 200 more horses and will be transforming myself into feudal. And my son, despite being feudal, he will inherit this full tribal army. And since they are already raised, he can keep using that powerful army forever. And the third benefit, super important, is that since they don't need to justify, you can expand very fast and get the best places in the world. For example, I got this location here, from there I jump down here, and from there I jump to my gold mine here, but there are 2 more gold mines nearby. And let's see, each gold mine provides me with a base of 5 gold. That is actually a lot, and it can be improved. So I will be getting the 3 gold mines in Africa, plus the silver mines in Cagliari. Up here in Cagliari also there is a silver mine that provides 3, and I will have enriched the Innsbruck gold mines that provide 5. Also from here I'm going to jump to Santiago de Compostela, that is one of the best provinces in the world, and Jerusalem. That way you are controlling lots of places that will provide you with huge benefits, local and faction-wide. Doing the same thing under feudal is almost impossible because you need to justify, and justify takes a long time. Also, spreading bases all over the world will speed up a lot the process of conquering the whole world using vassal annexation later on. So let's start with the guide. Rule number 1, the constructions that you have available are very few and they only have 2 levels. Rule number 2, you cannot construct new holdings, so you are limited to what you have, usually the capital and some other holding. Rule number 3, also another disadvantage, you are stuck with the tribal technology and you cannot advance in time. 4, your armies consume prestige, not gold, so prestige is kind of your goal as a tribal. 5, your court is restricted and far less powerful than the feudal courts. 6, a good one, instead of size 3 regiments at arms, your regiments at arms are of size 5. 7, and the best one, you can declare war to anyone within your diplomatic range, and you spend prestige of piety for doing so, depending on the target. Number 8, a very bad one, you are locked into confederate partition for succession, so successions are problematic for tribals. Number 9, you can raise your army as raiders, and you gain prestige and money doing so, raiding enemy counties. When you go back to your territory, you will get an amount of prestige and money depending on the golden coins that you bring back. If you bring back 500 golden coins, you will gain also 500 prestige. And number 10, there are also another aspect, but those are the most important. You gain contribution from your false vassals according to your prestige. You get 8 5% extra taxes and vassals per each of the 5 levels of prestige. Tip number 1, and this is crucial for your success, you should change your relation to the target. For example, if you are playing in Europe, I strongly recommend you change yourself to Christian. That way you are going to be spending, instead of 75 prestige per county, you'll be spending just 25 piety. So, as you already guessed, prestige is the most important aspect of tribal, because you can keep steamrolling all the counties as long as you have prestige. But how you gain more prestige? Well, one way is using this tradition, tribal unity. It pays you 75 per county that you give to your family, 150 per duchy, 300 per kingdom, and so on. So you keep steamrolling and getting counties and give those to your family, and you will be getting more and more prestige for your armies and keep going. But unfortunately, this tradition it's only on 2 tribal rulers. One is the one that I'm playing, the Hungarian tribes, and the other one are the Bedouins, located down here. If you start a Viking or Irish, for example, on the other hand, you will need some other resources to gain prestige. That's why, in my opinion, the Hungarian tribes are the best and most powerful tribe to start with. Tip number 3, and this is an error I saw on several guides. They say the battles and wars give you prestige, and that is false, depend on the battle and the war. Okay, how does it work? If you see the summary and you see here fame and devotion, this is not paying you piety nor prestige. If here say prestige, is going to pay you prestige and fame. So the battles that you need to get are the one that says prestige. And what are those battles? The regular battles from your wars pays you only fame. The battles that you fight for your allies, those are the ones that give you prestige. Also, when you go out raiding and you defeat an enemy army that tried to beat you, there you gain also prestige. And the most easier for me is when you start a war, usually raiders will spawn in your land, and each time you defeat them you will get about 500 prestige. So stay alert for raiders on your land. That are your best way to gain tons of prestige. What about raiding? Raiding, I barely use raiding because it's a lot of micromanagement and time consuming, but here's how it works. You start a raiding army and you start gaining loot from all the castles and the places that you siege. They actually go quite fast, and when you come back, if you came back with 500 golds, in your chest has a limit. Sometimes it's 500, sometimes 400, 100, depending on your army. You unload all that money and it will pay you also the same amount of prestige. So 500 coins are worth 500 prestige and 500 coins. I did a successful raid from here to Genova and got 500 coin and prestige, but it's kind of time consuming. On the other hand, I also tried with a smaller picking army and I only got 100 gold. That for me is kind of very little, but I was a bit faster. Tip number 5, try to wage battle that costs you no prestige at all, so battles against people with your same religion, and try to spend as little men as possible, because to replenish your armies will cost you prestige, and try to get always their capital, despite it's not an objective, but there you will come back with prisoners and you're going to ransom them, and with that money you are going to be able to create more titles, because you are going to get counties and you need money for creating the duchies that will pay you a lot of prestige. In my opinion, Vikings are much harder because they do not have the tribal unity tradition, so you cannot gain prestige by granting titles to your family, but they have one advantage: they can recruit 700 of these elite units that are super cool. So it's kind of also a challenging and fun way to play. I would like to make a mix between Norse and the Orcs from the Steppe, the Hungarian nobles. So in my next game I'm going to try to get a lot of Norse territories and make a mixed culture. So I get the horse archers and these huge units of 700 elite Norsemen. The Norse also have a big advantage. When you start with them, they usually have family everywhere, so you have a big defensive alliance. And the good thing about defensive alliance is that when you are attacked, you can call them for free, no prestige spending. So in kind of you are not going to be expanding that fast as with the Mongols raiders or the Hungarian tribes, but you're going to be able to hold your land thanks to your allies. Also, house members are more important for tribal kings than for feudal, because calling allies in an offensive war costs you prestige, unless they are house members. So basically it's impossible to call allies on an offensive war, because you'll be spending your valuable prestige, that is your fuel, but you can call for free your house member. To make a house member, you need to give a territory to a family member and make him independent, and you have friends for your life that will help you with your wars. Also in the upper right I uploaded the playlist that you may be interested in, like Crusader Kings, Hearts of Iron, and so on. I would like to also upload a list with the best location, that where are the mines and gold mines and so on. Also in the comments you will have important tips from other players, and your comments are most welcome. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.